They thought I'd stay silent after harassment, but the jury proved them wrong. When my boss cornered me in the break room and whispered words I'll never forget, I froze. I thought reporting him would bring justice. Instead, HR brushed me off with a chilling warning. Maybe you misunderstood him. Don't make trouble for yourself. For weeks, I believed I had no power. That silence was safer. But one witness, one lawyer, and one jury changed everything and turned my silence into the loudest statement of all. Before I share what happened, subscribe to Lawful Payback and comment where you're watching from. My name is Clara Mendoza, 34, from Austin, Texas. For nearly 7 years, I worked at Redriver Tech, a mid-sized software company. I wasn't a developer or a high-paid executive. I was a project coordinator, the one who made sure timelines were met, budgets balanced, and chaos smoothed into order. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't chasing promotions. But my coworkers trusted me. Clara's the glue, they'd say. Without her, projects fall apart. I liked my job. I liked my team. I believed in the company's mission. And most of all, I believed loyalty and professionalism were enough to protect me. That illusion shattered the day Richard Holbrook walked in. Richard was the new vice president of operations. Charismatic. Confident. Mid-40s with a Rolex, tailored suits, and a grin that looked more like a warning than a smile. At first, I thought he was just arrogant. But arrogance turned into something darker. It started with casual comments. Nice dress, Clara. Too nice for spreadsheets. You'd go further here if you smiled more. I laughed it off nervously. I didn't want to seem uptight. But then it escalated. One late night, I stopped at the break room for coffee. Richard stepped in, blocking the doorway. He leaned too close, his voice a whisper. You're wasted in that cubicle. A woman like you could get favors if she knew how to play nice with the right people. His words slithered under my skin. I froze. My heart hammered. I muttered something about deadlines and shoved past him. His smirk followed me out. The next morning, I went to HR, still shaking. Lisa, the HR manager, listened with a blank smile. Clara, Richard's a VP. Maybe you misunderstood him. Don't make trouble for yourself. I blinked. I didn't misunderstand. He cornered me. She leaned back. Look, if you push this, it could affect your career here. My advice? Drop it. I walked out in shock. HR wasn't protecting me, they were protecting him. But Richard didn't stop. In meetings, he'd smirk, leaning in too close when no one was watching. In hallways, he'd whisper things just low enough no one else could hear. And soon, retaliation began. After years of glowing reviews, my performance rating plummeted. For the first time, I was labeled unreliable and difficult. I knew exactly why. At home, I broke down. My sister Elena wrapped me in her arms as I sobbed. What if no one believes me? I whispered. What if he ruins my career? Bills piled up. My rent fell behind. My health spiraled under the stress. At work, whispers spread. Someone leaked that I had issues with Richard. Colleagues avoided me. Some pitied me, but no one dared take my side. One day, as I walked into the cafeteria, I overheard 2 coworkers whispering. She's just bitter. She probably made it up. I clenched my tray so hard my knuckles turned white. The isolation was unbearable. At night, I'd sit awake staring at the ceiling, dreading the next day. I thought about quitting, running away, disappearing. And then the eviction notice came, bold red letters taped to my door. I sank to the floor, clutching it in my hands, thinking, maybe Richard was right. Maybe I am nothing but trouble. But then I pictured the next woman Richard would corner. The next employee HR would bury. And something inside me whispered, not this time. I began collecting evidence. Emails. Calendar invites. Sticky notes Richard left with inappropriate remarks. Even screenshots of Slack messages where he called me too emotional. Still, I knew it wasn't enough. My word against his. Then, one morning, James, a quiet coworker who rarely spoke, slipped a folded note onto my desk. I saw what happened in the break room. If you need me, I'll testify. I stared at the note, my hands trembling. For the first time in months, I wasn't alone. That night, I met with attorney Lisa Patel, a fearless employment lawyer known for harassment cases. Her office was cluttered with files, her desk stacked with coffee cups. She listened carefully, then leaned forward. "Clara, this isn't just harassment. This is retaliation. With James as a witness and HR's involvement, we have a strong case." Tears welled in my eyes. "But can we win against them?" Her voice was steady. "They thought you'd stay silent. That was their mistake. Now we fight." The trial was brutal. Redriver's lawyers painted me as overly sensitive. They claimed Richard was simply friendly. Richard himself testified, all charm. "I never disrespected Clara. She's misinterpreting everything. She's using me as an excuse for poor performance." Their attorney grilled me. "Miss Mendoza, isn't it true you missed deadlines?" "Yes," I said, steady. "Because I was retaliated against after reporting harassment." The jury studied me closely. Then came her turn. James took the stand. Calm, steady, he described exactly what he saw in the break room. The way Richard blocked my path. The way I recoiled. The jurors leaned in. Richard's face flushed red. But the defense wasn't done. They tried to shake James. "Are you sure you saw correctly? Wasn't it late? Maybe you misinterpreted." James didn't flinch. "I know what I saw." Clara was uncomfortable. Richard was cornering her. Lisa presented the sticky notes, the emails, the glowing reviews that suddenly turned sour after my complaint. And then the bombshell. During discovery, Lisa found an HR memo. It read, "Clara's complaint could damage Richard's reputation. Recommend documenting her as unreliable to discredit." The courtroom gasped. The HR manager turned pale. Richard's jaw tightened. Lisa's closing words thundered. They thought Clara would stay silent. They thought power was stronger than truth. But today, you decide whose voice matters. The jury deliberated for just 5 hours. When they returned, my heart pounded so loud I could barely hear. Verdict, in my favor. Damages, $7.3 million for harassment, retaliation, and emotional distress. I broke into sobs. Elena squeezed my hand. James gave me a quiet nod from across the room. The judge's words echoed. This company acted with reckless disregard for the law and basic human dignity. Richard resigned in disgrace. The HR manager retired early. Redriver Tech made national headlines, not for innovation, but for corruption. Former coworkers who once avoided me sent quiet messages. "Thank you. You gave us courage. You showed us it's possible to fight back." At home, I finally slept soundly for the first time in months. I realized something powerful. Silence would have protected him, not me. Speaking out nearly broke me. But it also brought justice. They thought I'd stay silent. But in court, my voice became the one thing they couldn't ignore. If you believe in standing up when the odds are stacked against you, subscribe to Lawful Payback. The next story will leave you speechless.